Hi guys. So this video is long overdue. This is a video that I was supposed to do a couple of months ago where I said that I will show you guys how to use the answer to make your digital footage, look like a film footage. Somehow I haven't gotten along to it because I've been busy doing other things. But I thought why not just do it today, and show you guys how I use the answer to make my footage look like the way I make them look when I'm doing my short film. And which is what today's video is going to be about actually. So get your computer ready and let's go. So we're in Resolve, and which is what I pretty much used to do. Edit most of my videos, all of my videos actually. So I have this footage here that I'm going to be using to do a quick example of how to use the answer. So I'm going to put in one of them real quick on the timer. These are short clips I just made just for the example of for the purpose of this tutorial. Now you can see, hopefully you can see that the footage is in log file. If I just make this bolder, you can see that it's a bit desaturated. That's because I shot this in Rex in what's it called now, C-Log 3 or S-Log 3 rather. So one of the first things you want to do is once you have your footage in, you want to make sure you correct it first of all. And one of the ways you can do that is to go to, your Fusion, not your Fusion actually, your color correction side, of DaVinci. And then you want to add several nodes. To do this, you just need to press Command S. If you're using a Mac, if you're using a Windows, Alt S, it just gives you a new node. So the first thing you want to do if you're using the answer is you want to first of all change your log file to Rec 709. If you don't do it that way, your footage would act clunky, it wouldn't work properly. Another thing is you want to make sure your color correction starts from the first node, not the second node. It has to be the first node. So how do we change this? It's pretty much simple if you don't know how to. Once you have a node selected, you go to color space transform, or you can just search for it at the top bar here. But let's go to color space transform and we'll click on that and we'll just drag it and put in our first node. Now obviously nothing has changed because we haven't done anything, we just added a node. Once you've done that, you now want to go to where you have your inbuilt color space and you want to choose the color space you use in shooting your footage. Now I used Sony S Gamma 3.cine, so I'm going to select that and you see a bit of a change. I'm also going to go to my input gamma as well and I'm going to select the same thing as well. Where is it at? So I'm looking for S-Log 3 is what I'm looking for actually. And I'm going to look for S-Log, found it. Actually, I shot an S-Log 2 rather, so I'm going to select S-Log 2 and you can see it's already changing the way the thing looks here. And then now I'm going to go to my output and I'm going to select Rec 709. So that way it looks like what your normal eye would see. Why do you shoot in S-Log? Obviously it gives you more flexibility in post when you're doing your stuff. And now we have that sorted, I can now go and start using the answer to do whatever I want to do with this footage. So I'm not going to do color grading whatever. I'm just going to use the answer to make it like a film, like a film look. So the next thing I'm going to do is going to choose the second node and I'm going to search for the answer. And I can see that, where is it at? Okay, the answer pro. All I'm going to do is just put this on here. And mind you, I need to say this. The answer can drag a lot of energy from your computer. So you want to make sure you have a strong system that can be able to handle this correctly. At first glance, you can see everything changed. Yes, the entire footage. If I turn off this, you see that there's a bit more yellow and now it's a bit more greenish. That's because the answer has a couple of stuff turned on. For you, if you want, you could leave them that way. If you don't, you could take it off. Now, I pretty much do not turn it off. I leave it the way it is. But I do have some extra stuff. So one of the things that I do is, one of the reasons why it's the answer is for two major reasons actually. I use it for the grain and I use it for the film damage because that's what makes your film look like a film. There are other things like halation and bloom, obviously, depending on the context that you want to use it for. But I use it for grain and I use it for film damage. But aside from that, you can do a whole bunch of things on the answer. You can obviously change your input as well. Rec 709 the rest, you can adjust your exposure, your color temperature if you want as well. You can change it from cool to warm. You can do a bunch of stuff on this plugin, and then this is the film emulator. You can go here and choose variations of camera if you want. I'm not gonna leave it at Kodak the way it is. And then you have a film developer as well. You can do again a whole lot of stuff. You can boost your contrast, or you can reduce your contrast if you want. But always remember they have to enable, otherwise they wouldn't work. So reduce contrast, increase contrast. I'm going to take this off. I do not want to play with that. There's film compression as well. Again, you can do a bunch of stuff on here. But what I want to do is I want to go to my film grain and I want to increase the amount of grain that I have. And I also want to enable my halation and increase it a bit. Now you can select from a couple of options on down here. I'm just going to say 65. Same thing here, I'm going to do with 60. No, let me do 35 and change my ISO. Or let me increase my ISO on here and do 35 to 250 ISO, pretty much. And then bloom as well. I also want to use bloom, so I'm going to turn that on and I'm going to amplify that a bit. Now, I don't even know what this looks like. Let's play this footage. Okay, so pretty much this, and then film damage. I'm going to enable film damage. And if I play this, you would see those, let me increase the amount so it's more visible. You would see those things that look, those white thingy that kind of plays on here, yeah, that is on the screen. I don't know if you can see that, but let me make this full. And there are some white damaged thingy pretty much. And all of this already makes it look like a film. There are other things that you can do, obviously, if you have a particular idea in mind how you want this to look like. There are other things you can do. There's film breathe, there's gate wave. I don't use gate wave. Overscan is the other one that I like to use sometimes. So if I enable this, it gives you these looks that you can pretty much change to whatever one you want. And this is my favorite one. This is my favorite one. This Super 8mm. I like this one a lot, because of this effect that it gives. And I can actually even make this breathe if I want. So I would just have to go to take off the static gate, untick that, and now you can see that the surroundings around it already, breathe. But I'm going to take this off. I don't want to use it for this particular clip. And there's also vignette as well. Vignette on Dehancer is a bit tricky. I don't know how to show you this completely, to be honest, because sometimes I try to use it and I can't even find my vignette. So I can say it now, it works. Nice, it works, they fixed it. Okay, so that's a vignette as well. Now you can do other stuff like you can monitor, turn on first color if you want to turn on first color, and you can use that to just track to make sure that everything you're doing is in check out your saturation and all of this stuff. You can also, what's it called now? Reduce all of this effect, which is output. So just by dragging this down, it kind of tones down everything. So this is like a general opacity leveler, if I may, or a general, like a global blend if you're using Resolve. I don't know if that makes sense. That's what I call global blend Resolve. That kind of globally reduces everything for you. That is what output does. So it reduces everything, all of the effects, and you can see increase that as well. Now, another beautiful thing about Dehancer is that you can actually, at the end of all of this, now export this as a lot. So you don't have to do all of this again from the beginning. All you have to do is just export it. When next you need your edit, go to your lot side and just input that. And that saves you a ton of work, saves you a ton of, workflow, and just makes everything faster for you pretty much. And yeah, pretty much that is how Dehancer works. It's not so hard. It's just, you need to know what you're looking for. You need to know what you're trying to do, what effect you're trying to create, and what emotion you're trying to put in your production. And that pretty much guide how you use the software. The way I use it obviously is different from the way other people use it as well. But this is how I use Dehancer. I just had some grains, add some film damage, and then I do other of my color correction on Resolve. But you can do them on here if you want. I'm going to change my print from linear to glossy. I like glossy as well. But this is too dark. Where can I reduce the intention? I can reduce the exposure. I can increase that actually from here. And just do a few touch to make sure that it's not so strong. But pretty much is how I use it. I can make it a bit brighter. So it's a different way of editing your footage. If you don't want to use Resolve, you can just use this, and it's pretty simple, it's pretty easy. You just need to decide what you want to do with it and what you want to achieve with it. And once you're done, like I said, you just need to export, and you're pretty much, you're pretty much good. that is how you pretty much use the answer to make your footage look like I just did. Pretty much, you can turn your digital footage to look like a film footage, because I mean, film cameras are very, very expensive, you know. But yeah, let me know what you think about this video. Please like, share, please comment. A lot of you are not subscribed to my channel, but you view my channel. Just hit subscribe, but it's like 1 second, so we just click that button. Yeah, and thank you in advance. So if you want to pick up the answer, I'm going to drop a link in the bottom of this video. I'm also going to drop a promo code that you can use to get 10% discount on your purchase, as well as a link to a Google Drive where I would have this footage that I just use as a case study, just in case you also want to try it out for yourself and see how you can best color grade or how it will work well on your own device, you know. But yeah, other than that, see you guys in the next one, and bye guys.